My dear friends, let me begin with a simple question. Have you ever met a woman who walks quietly, speaks gently, smiles softly, but her presence feels powerful? Not loud, not dramatic, not attention-seeking, my dear friends. Let me begin with something very simple. In this fast-moving world, everyone is trying to become powerful, popular, perfect, but very few are trying to become peaceful. And that is why when you meet a woman who is calm in chaos, gentle in difficulty, and steady in storms, her presence feels different. Not because she has no problems, but because her problems do not have her. There are women who shine because of makeup, money, or status. And then there are women who shine because of mindset, maturity, and meaning. The second kind does not announce herself. You recognize her by the way she listens more than she speaks, by the way she chooses silence over unnecessary arguments, and by the way she smiles even when her heart has been tired for a long time. A blessed woman is not someone whose life is easy. She is someone who has learned how to grow through what was meant to break her. When disappointment comes, she allows herself to feel it, but she does not build a house in sadness. She visits pain, learns the lesson, and then quietly moves forward. She understands that life does not always give explanations, but it always gives opportunities to become wiser. You will notice that such a woman does not rush. She does not chase people who do not choose her. She does not beg for attention or adjust her self-respect for temporary comfort. She knows that what is meant for her will not need force. It will need preparation, patience, and faith. So instead of running behind the world, she works on her inner world. She is kind, but not careless. She forgives, but she remembers the lesson. She helps, but she does not harm herself to rescue others. She has realized that love without boundaries becomes exhaustion. So she chooses balance, soft heart, strong spine. And even when life feels unfair, she keeps a quiet conversation going inside her soul. A conversation called hope. She may not post her struggles. She may not announce her tears. But she carries something rare in her heart. Trust that storms do not come to destroy, they come to rearrange. Such women do not measure their value through people's opinions. Praise does not make them arrogant. Criticism does not make them collapse. Their confidence does not come from applause. It comes from acceptance of who they are becoming. So if you are a woman who has been misunderstood, delayed, tested, and still chooses to be gentle, if you have been disappointed and still choose to believe, if life has been heavy and you still choose to walk with grace, then remember this. Strength is not loud, blessings are not always visible, and growth is often silent. Some of the most powerful transformations happen quietly, deep within the heart, where no camera can reach and no crowd can clap. And when a woman reaches that space, she does not just survive life. She elevates it. That is not weakness. That is grace in human form. Friends, take a moment and think about the women you have met in life, the ones whose presence feels like a quiet light in a room full of noise. These are not women who seek to impress, who try to be loud to get attention, or who rely on status or wealth to define themselves. They are women who walk gently through life, yet leave footprints of peace, kindness, and strength. You can feel it when they enter a space, an aura that is calm, reassuring, and inspiring. And the remarkable thing is, they have not become this way by avoiding life's challenges. They have become this way by embracing them, by choosing faith over frustration, and by learning to rise after every fall. A woman truly blessed by God is someone who understands the beauty of gratitude. She sees the good even when circumstances seem unfair, and she focuses on lessons rather than complaints. Life may have given her heartbreak, delays, disappointments, or moments of loneliness, but instead of bitterness, she cultivates gratitude. She understands that every setback is shaping her soul, every trial is teaching her patience, and every failure is preparing her for something bigger. She smiles because she knows that life is not about waiting for perfect conditions, it is about discovering the strength within. These women are calm even when the world is chaotic. Social media, opinions, comparisons, and endless noise cannot shake them. They have built an inner sanctuary where they are not constantly seeking validation, where they are not reacting to every comment, criticism, or gossip. Their peace is quiet but unshakable. And that peace is not weakness, it is wisdom, it is self-mastery. It is a silent declaration that their energy is precious and cannot be wasted on trivial distractions. A blessed woman also knows the importance of boundaries. She is kind, compassionate, and generous, but she does not allow herself to be drained or disrespected. She helps, she listens, she forgives, but she also protects her dignity, her time, and her energy. She has learned that soft hearts do not mean soft limits. Love, empathy, and kindness are her strengths, not her vulnerabilities. This balance between gentleness and strength is what makes her extraordinary. Patience is another quality she embodies. She does not rush life or force outcomes. She understands that divine timing is always perfect, that the right opportunities, relationships, and experiences arrive at the right moment. Instead of running after things, she prepares herself, grows quietly, and waits with hope, and in this patience there is power, a power that cannot be replicated by impatience, by force, or by haste. Lastly, her self-worth comes from within. She does not measure herself by others' opinions or by fleeting external validation. She knows who she is and who she is. Rejection does not shake her, criticism does not break her, and temporary loneliness does not scare her. Because she has a quiet certainty she is loved, chosen, and equipped for the journey ahead. And when she walks through life in this way, she does not merely survive, she elevates everything around her, turning ordinary moments into lessons of grace, courage, and hope. Take a moment and think about the women who have truly touched your life. Not the ones who are loud or commanding, but the ones whose very presence feels like a quiet light guiding others through darkness. These women have an aura that cannot be taught or bought. It comes from something deeper, something that grows when a person faces life honestly, embraces challenges, and chooses faith over fear. You notice them not because they demand attention, but because they carry themselves with a certain dignity, a certain grace, and a certain calm that makes others feel safe and inspired. A woman who is truly blessed carries gratitude in her heart like a sacred treasure. She has learned to look at life through a lens of learning, not complaining. When life gives her trials, she may stumble, but she does not stay down. She understands that pain, heartbreak, and delays are not punishments but teachers. Even when doors close and dreams feel distant, she whispers a quiet prayer of acceptance and looks for the lesson in every moment. Gratitude is not about ignoring the difficulties. It is about realizing that every struggle is shaping her into someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. These women also possess a remarkable inner calm. The world may be chaotic, opinions may be harsh, comparisons may be constant, but she does not lose herself in the noise. She has created a sanctuary within her mind and heart, a place where she can retreat to reflect, recharge, and realign herself with purpose. This calm is not passivity, it is power. It is the ability to respond rather than react, to observe rather than argue, to choose peace over unnecessary conflict. Her serenity is magnetic because it comes from discipline, self-awareness, and trust in a higher order that she cannot always see but deeply feels. She is kind, but her kindness has boundaries. She gives without losing herself. She forgives without erasing lessons. She loves without compromising her dignity. She helps without being drained by expectation. There is a strength in her softness, a wisdom in her patience, and a beauty in her balance. Life may have tried to teach her harsh lessons, but she has responded with grace. She knows that boundaries do not make her unloving, they make her sustainable, strong, and radiant in her interactions with others. Perhaps most importantly, her worth comes from within. She does not seek validation from applause, popularity, or superficial approval. She measures herself not by what the world says about her, but by the truth she knows about herself and the faith she carries. She may be misunderstood, ignored, or even underestimated, but she walks confidently in her values, her faith, and her purpose. In her silence there is strength. In her patience there is power. In her presence there is inspiration. She is not just surviving life. She is quietly transforming it, leaving an impact on every person she encounters without even trying. And that is the true mark of a woman blessed by God. She turns ordinary life into extraordinary lessons of courage, compassion, and faith. She does not need to shout to be heard. She does not need to fight to be recognized. She simply becomes, and through that becoming, she elevates the world around her. Take a moment and reflect on the women who inspire quietly, not through loud achievements or attention-grabbing moments, but through the way they live, the way they carry themselves, and the way they touch lives without even trying. These women are often overlooked by the world, yet their influence is profound because it comes from depth, not display. You can sense it when they walk into a room, a calmness, a subtle confidence, and a sense of peace that tells you they are in harmony with themselves and with life. They have faced storms, but they do not allow the storms to define them. Instead, the storms have taught them lessons that only time, patience, and faith can reveal. A woman truly blessed by God does not measure herself by what others say or by how the world sees her. She knows that real strength is invisible. It is in the way she recovers from disappointment, in the way she rises after failure, and in the way she chooses hope when the world seems to be saying no. Her gratitude is not forced, it is natural. She sees beauty in small things, finds joy in ordinary moments, and values the lessons hidden in every challenge. Life may have tested her, but she understands that tests are not there to break her. They are there to help her grow, to expand her character, and to deepen her wisdom. She walks through life with patience, knowing that timing is not something to be rushed. She has learned that forcing outcomes often leads to frustration, whereas trust, preparation, and perseverance always lead to alignment with her higher purpose. She does not chase recognition or applause. She does not demand understanding or approval. She waits quietly and confidently for the right doors to open, for the right people to enter her life, and for the right opportunities to present themselves. And in that waiting, she grows stronger, more capable, and more grounded in her values. Kindness is her strength, but it is guided by discernment. She forgives but remembers lessons. She loves deeply but protects her dignity. She supports, she nurtures, she encourages, but she does not lose herself in the process. Her generosity flows from a heart that is balanced and aware, a heart that knows its limits and respects its own energy. Softness does not mean weakness. Gentleness does not mean submission. Her strength lies in the harmony she maintains between compassion and self-respect, between care for others and care for herself. Above all, she understands that her worth is not defined by comparison, competition, or approval. She does not shrink to fit expectations, nor does she inflate herself to impress others. She is rooted in self-awareness, faith, and purpose. In a world that often measures value by noise, speed, and visibility, she stands quietly, resiliently, and gracefully. And through her presence, she teaches others an invaluable lesson, that true blessing is not about the life you have, it is about the heart you nurture, the values you uphold, and the calm strength you carry through all of life's seasons. And that is why a woman who embodies these qualities is truly blessed, because she not only survives life, she transforms it quietly, deeply, and powerfully. Friends, think for a moment about the women in your life who leave an impression not because of what they say, but because of how they live. These are the women who carry a quiet strength, an inner calm, and a gentle confidence that does not need validation from anyone else. You feel it when they are around, a sense of peace that draws you in, a warmth that comforts, and a quiet assurance that everything will be okay. They have faced struggles, heartbreaks, and challenges, yet they do not allow those moments to define their story. Instead, they allow those moments to refine them, to shape their character, and to deepen their faith in life. A woman truly blessed by God has learned the art of gratitude. She does not focus on what she lacks or what life has denied her. Instead, she focuses on what she has, on what she can give, and on the lessons hidden within every challenge. Pain, disappointment, and setbacks are not burdens for her, they are opportunities. She understands that every closed door is guiding her to the right one, every failed plan is teaching her patience, and every moment of loneliness is helping her discover her own strength. Her heart is tuned to see the silver lining, and that perspective changes everything. Such a woman is calm even when life is loud. She does not react to every criticism, gossip, or negative opinion. Instead, she responds with thoughtfulness and discernment. She has built a sanctuary within herself, a place where she can retreat, reflect, and recharge. This calm is not passivity, it is power. It is self-control. It is emotional intelligence. And it is the quiet knowledge that peace is far more valuable than winning every argument. Her serenity is a magnet that attracts people, not because she demands attention, but because people feel safe and inspired in her presence. She is kind and compassionate, yet she protects her own energy. She loves deeply but does not compromise her dignity. She helps willingly but does not let herself be used or exhausted. She forgives but remembers lessons, balancing grace with wisdom. Soft hearts do not mean weak hearts, and a gentle soul does not mean a submissive one. Strength comes in the balance between empathy and discernment, between love and self-respect, and that balance is what makes her extraordinary. Her self-worth comes from within, not from approval or validation. She does not measure herself by comparison or by the standards of others. Rejection does not define her, criticism does not shake her, and temporary loneliness does not frighten her. She stands firmly in her faith, her values, and her purpose. She understands that life may not always go according to plan, but with patience, trust, and perseverance, everything unfolds as it should. Her presence is a lesson to everyone around her that real blessing is not in recognition or applause, but in strength of character, calmness of heart, and unwavering faith in life. And that is the essence of a woman blessed by God. She does not simply exist. She transforms every life she touches. Her quiet strength, her calm presence, her gratitude, and her faith create ripples that reach far beyond what the eyes can see. She is living proof that blessings are not always visible, they are felt, they are lived, and they are shared silently, powerfully, and beautifully. So if you are a woman who still believes after being hurt, still loves after being disappointed, still hopes after being broken, still prays after being tired, then listen carefully. You are not weak. You are not unlucky. You are not forgotten. You are chosen to heal, chosen to rise, chosen to inspire. And one day, your story will become someone else's survival guide. Stay gentle, stay strong, stay rooted in faith. Because when God blesses a woman, He does not make her louder. He makes her unbreakable. Thank you.